Unbelievable gut check by our guys. Kentucky came in here and broke our spirit, and we walked around for 4 or 5 days wounded. And Florida's a good team. They're old, they're veteran. Mike's done an unbelievable job with integrating new guys and elevating the play of the guys that had been there. And and they're a good basketball team, and they didn't lose. They never they didn't get back up a step. We had to go earn that win, and really, really proud of our guys.
Frank, you guys come out aggressive, attacking the rim, build that big lead, get behind. What did you tell them at halftime? Was it just simply keep being aggressive and keep attacking the rim?
Yeah, we just changed what we were doing, and we kind of reverted back to the team when Florida changed. They realized they had a deficit, and they changed their demeanor on the court. They got more aggressive defensively. They became more decisive offensively, and our guys, we were vulnerable, and we started that same spirit that we had to start the game. It kind of started breaking, and heck, I think if you count the start of the second half, it was like a 22-23-0 run. I was concerned for our guys because we've been vulnerable for the last week, and but once again, Sindarius, Mendogas, Limonis, Dwayne, that core guys, they like I told them 2 days ago, I said, you guys didn't crack when we were 1 and whatever in last place in league play. You didn't crack when we went into Georgia with 7 guys because we had issues and injuries. Why are you going to crack now when you've worked so hard to be a good team? And that core guys, they stood up tall today.
Cindy said yesterday that you kind of pushed up their spirits and let them know they had 5 games left and 9 practices left to go. Much in the same that you were just talking about. How nice was it to see them kind of embrace that and just get back out there and get back in character, particularly from the start?
Yeah, Brian, the season's long, and I thought our guys had lost perspective on success, and were dwelling too much on the length of the season and being tired, and the games are hard. That's one thing we spoke about when the season started. 18 rock fights, and think about every game we've been in. It's been an absolute rock fight, with the exception of Alabama at Alabama. It's what I tried to do to the guys is I told them point blank, everyone's practiced the same number of times as us. Everyone's played more or less the same number of games as us. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to break this down to a brand new season. We're going to practice. I opened all the jobs up. I said, it's day 1 of practice all over again. We're going to do the drills, the things that have made us a good basketball team. Because when you're 21-5 and you've won 9 games or whatever it is away from home, you're a good team. I don't care what anyone says. And so trust in the fact that you guys know that you're a good team. But let's just play brand new season. Jobs are open. Our drills is what we did the first day of practice. We're not trying to run all these plays to get certain guys shots. We're going back to the fundamentals so we can play with the innocence and the free mind that we had in October. And that's all I wanted to accomplish. 10 practices, 5 games. Now we're down to 8 practices, 4 games. And let's stay there. Let's be excited. I told you, it's like middle school. Middle school, you practice 10 times and you play 5-game season, season's over. I said, it's like middle school, man. Let's be excited that if we can perform and be enthused about each other for the next 2 weeks, then you're going to reinforce what you should already know, that we're a good basketball team. And we just tried to start from scratch, and that way we focus in on what matters rather than all the irrelevant stuff that does not matter.
I know you said you had opened up all positions, but was it part of the game plan to, regardless win or lose, you just wanted your older guys in there for most of the game?
No, they would have practiced like crap. They wouldn't have played. Those guys understand. They've been through this before. The last 2 days in practice, those guys have been ridiculously good. Not just because they're scoring or blocking shots, their body language, their enthusiasm, their voices have been relentless in our practice. There's a reason why I played those guys. You know, those guys didn't crack when it was hard. When we were in last place, those guys never doubted in each other. So we needed to refine our spirit. We needed to refine our identity. And no surprise, the last 2 days in practice, those are the guys that came in like it was the first day of practice with the innocent approach. There's no pressure to win a game. There's no pressure for anything. Just to go out there and be the best teammate that you can be, because you know you only got 10 practices left. And they understood that, and they came out and played that way in practice. No surprise that translated to those guys playing well on the court.
Frank, following that up, how do you think Limones responded to his first start in a few weeks? And I'm taking it he was one of those guys in practice that you saw something out of.
Yeah, if he kept practicing the way he was, I wouldn't have played him. I would have started Eric Cobb or Ray Doby or whatever, started whoever. But after we spoke and I shared my views on how I wanted to do it, we practiced. And he had more rebounds in Thursday's practice than he probably had in the last month every day put together. And then later on that night, he sent a mass text to all of us, coaches, every player on the team, just expressing how excited he is about forgetting everything that was negative and figuring out a way to help us. Then he came in yesterday, and he was better than he was Thursday in practice. No surprise that he plays today. He still didn't rebound it on the defensive side, but he was active. He didn't, like, walk up and down the court. He gave us a presence. He didn't make a lot of dinks around the basket. Who cares? When's the last time he shot dinks around the basket? He gave us a presence at the rim, and, and that body language, that enthusiasm, guess what happens? In overtime, who scores the first 2 baskets? Him. Offensive rebound and a post up over 2 guys. It's, we need him to be good, and I can't make him be good. But when he commits himself to being a good player, he helps us.
Kind of on that note with Lemoyne, he said his mother was here for the first time. Can you talk about that as a coach and controlling his emotions, but also for you seeing his mother here and how he handled that?
Yeah, he went through a sequence of the game where he got a little emotional because he knew that he was trying. See, that's what happens when you invest and you don't succeed. It hurts. And he was invested the last 2 days, and he was invested during the course of the game, and it just wasn't working. The ball wasn't going in for him. He got a little emotional, and our players were phenomenal. I'm just telling you, phenomenal in that timeout to make him understand that, dude, relax, man, it's going to be all right. And I'm happy. Him and Mindaugas, both, their parents have never seen them play, and both sets of parents are here for the next 2 weeks. And, they're going to see him today, see him on Wednesday, I guess we play, and then see him, on senior day against Georgia. So it's, I'm happy for those guys that because both of them were walking around with broken spirits for about 4 or 5 days. And I'm glad they reacted like seniors and went out there and helped us the way they both did today.
Frank, your defense today, especially, I think Florida had 4 shot clock violations.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that very often. A big one in overtime too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be pretty pleased with how you guys responded on that.
What'd they shoot? I said they were in their 30s or something like that. It's and if you eliminate our bad offense, the last 7 minutes of the first half that gave them all these runouts on us, our defensive numbers would have been even better. But that's all we did, Pete, for the last 2 days. We tried to go back to day one so we can play through the innocence. I keep saying innocence because your first day of practice, you're not worried about the opponent. You're not worried about winning. You're not worried about losing. You're worried about learning how we're going to play and then going out there and just laying it on the line to earn your job. And that's what we tried to do, and it's no surprise that we guarded. Even our zone today, we made mistakes, and that happens. But we were active. We didn't rebound it as good as we need to on the defensive end. But you know what? We did that the last 10 minutes of the game. And we just have to – we got to kind of look in the mirror and understand that, we stand tall. Let's be proud, but let's make sure we worry about what makes us tall and proud, and it's who we are defensively.
Frank, Michael Carrera in the clutch, he had 3 triples that retook the lead and into deflection to Sindarius. Could you talk about his day?
Yeah, Michael, Michael didn't play well against Kentucky. I don't care what his stats were. He knows he didn't play well. He didn't play well against Missouri. He'll tell you that. And he started well today. And then he started pressing a little bit. And that's when our whole team was kind of cracking. And Michael and I have been through a lot together. We've been through some difficult moments, he and I. We've been through some difficult moments as a team. And the one thing I can tell you is that the harder it gets, the least likely that he's ever going to run. And at halftime, I went over and I spoke to him in Spanish. I didn't want anyone else to understand what I was telling him. And I'm not going to tell you what I told him. But he went out there and played with the courage that we've tried to build this program on. He made those threes. He made real good basketball plays. He comes up with deflections. He came up with some big-time rebounds. Michael. This something that's new for Michael. He's never been the leading character on a basketball team. When you're the leading character on a basketball team, it's exhausting because you have to perform every single day. This is a new chapter in his career as a basketball player. I think for the first time he's been through it, he's handling it pretty darn well.
Your last 5 points of the game all come from the free throw line. What is that a reflective of your personality and your team in terms of just staying aggressive, particularly in overtime when you needed points?
Yeah, we that's what got us in trouble at the end of the first half. We stopped attacking the paint. We didn't post up. We didn't drive the ball. We just started settling for long contested threes, shooting the ball off the dribble, pull-up jump shots off the dribble. We got out of character, and it's good to see, coming down at the end of regulation. Michael could have shot the 3, but he didn't settle. He was aggressive. Now we got to show him the film. He didn't settle for the 3, which is not what you want there. He drove the ball, but the help came. Now he's got to see on film, so when he does that, he sees if help comes, you got to pass it. But that's all part of the learning process for him. But we drove the ball. We didn't settle. We drove the ball. We got to the line. We made free throws. I was worried about those last 2 free throws because he was exhausted. He was done. If we had to play not 30 seconds, not a minute, 30 more seconds, I don't know if he could have finished the game. He was exhausted. But his courage, allowed him to make that first one and make it a 2-possession game.